It is the 31st of December and it is the end of what has been a very busy, hectic, rather controversial year. Sports and politics were strange companions in the year 2024. The conflicts across various countries and continents spilled over to affect sporting ties and the entire sporting system in many of the countries too. So in such times, we of course need to celebrate the triumph of the human spirit and those who made this calendar year count. Who were the headliners from the year that was and who defined sport and how that shaped our year? Was it athletes like Jannik Sinner, Vinicius Jr, or Max Verstappen who battled setbacks and challenges to come out winners? And what were the biggest controversies that rocked the sporting world? All of that in our year-end special that also documents 1 year of us bringing you Sports First. National Spain Day is celebrated on the 12th of October every year, a day when Spanish legacy is remembered and honored the world over. But for all Spanish sports fans out there, July 14th would come very close. Carlos Alcaraz won his 4th Grand Slam title, and that too on English soil. And just a few hours later, his football compatriots clinched the Euros title by beating England in the final. Nothing could be more poignant than this. Spain won a historic 4th Euros title after a 2-1 victory, and Spanish fans the world over were elated. The biggest star to be born, the superstar emerging from this tournament, of course, has been Lamine Yamal. Yamal has no ceiling. What a thing to say about a teenager, but that is bound to happen if you've received the Messi touch. This famous photo, of course, of Messi with Yamal as a little baby Yamal went viral. But when it comes to celebrating a national hero, many fans seem to conveniently forget national pride. It is overshadowed by club sentiments, and when I say sentiments, I'm putting it very mildly. It's almost jingoistic. In another horrendous episode in Spain, their rising sensation Lamine Yamal was racially abused during the Real Madrid clash at Bernabeu. He, along with Rafinha and Ansu Fati, were targeted in their game. While Fati and Rafinha were racially abused, Yamal had to face xenophobic attacks too. This after the 17-year-old celebrated his goal in the 77th minute during Barcelona's 4-0 triumph over Madrid. It is also unsurprising that support for these Barcelona players came from one of their opponents from the night, someone who knows what's it like to be on the receiving end of such abuses. Vinicius Jr came out and condoned the actions, calling out his own club's fans on social media. Despite being a Spanish national, fans didn't hesitate before targeting Yamal's Equatorial Guinea and Moroccan heritage. The same Yamal, who was a hero in Spain for winning them the Euros, is now being abused for his non-Spanish roots. So he's all Spain as long as he's winning trophies for the country. What's more shocking is the fact that Yamal hasn't had an easy year. After the Euros win, Yamal's father was stabbed, was hospitalized. The teenager underwent emotional turmoil for more than a month, yet continued to take his football and was trying to focus on his sport even as his father recuperated. The scars are still fresh from that episode, even as he fights his mental turbulence. He's been dealt with this, and in a game that is followed the world over. And if fans can drain terror on one of their own, technically, then no player can truly escape the wrath of these fans. So what this episode reiterates is drastic measures, whether it comes from a directive by the government or Spain Football Federation themselves, is needed to act at a larger scale and curb and snuff out this menace that is threatening to impact yet another player, someone who has immense potential to become the next footballing superstar, Lamine Yamal. When Argentina won the Copa America title, everyone applauded. Watching Messi in tears, almost losing the title, to a last-ditch effort turning it all around. They had managed to follow up their 2022 World Cup win with the Copa America triumph this year. But it's not even been a week since the win, and the focus has shifted from celebrating their glorious achievement to an unfortunate incident. Spain's Euros victory is all but forgotten because some of the Argentina players decided to celebrate by mocking France in a chant that has now brought everyone's attention and criticisms firmly on Argentina. Enzo Fernandez is at the heart of this. It exploded when he uploaded a video of Argentina players singing a racist song. A song that questioned French team's sexual preferences and even their nationality. Although Enzo apologized right after, the damage was already done. The French Football Federation reacted to the song and asked FIFA to take action. The matter has escalated. Enzo's Chelsea teammate and French player Wesley Fofana criticized Enzo for this on social media, and his other French teammates at Chelsea have unfollowed Enzo on Instagram. There is massive discord and anger, and this is threatening to rip Argentina apart. Voices in France continue to grow. More renowned faces have come forth calling this chant and the act of celebrating in this manner a disgrace. So there is a lot of din around this incident, and it's gathering a bit of a storm. But in all of this, one person's silence is probably louder to miss. The Argentina captain and one of the greatest players to ever play the sport, Lionel Messi. Now let's keep the facts on the table first. Messi wasn't visible in the video uploaded by Enzo. He was not seen chanting the song. He was not dancing to that song either. He was not seen anywhere near this ill-thought celebration move. Second, it's also believed that Messi wasn't probably part of the bus that returned home. At least that is what Messi wants to tell us through his social media, because as the video gathered more heat, Messi uploaded this, a picture of him giving an update on his injury. Maybe trying to say that he didn't travel with Argentina squad after all and stayed back in Miami. But apart from that, it's been radio silence on the subject, a subject that is raging in Argentina and threatening to tarnish the image of a country that has symbolized the beautiful game. Argentina caught in the eye of a storm, and yet the captain is silent. In fact, Argentina's Undersecretary of Sports, Julio Garo, demanded an apology from Messi over the racist song. A request to clarify the matter may be fair given the circumstances and the fact that this is enraging. Countries and political channels have caught wind of it. But what followed? Garo was sacked from his position. How dare he question the legend Messi? Maybe the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner is waiting for the right time to speak up in this matter too. But speak he must, and hopefully it won't be too late when he does. Now picture this, a young Brazilian kid far from home with dreams as big as the Maracanã Stadium. A kid with immense talent and hunger for one thing and one thing alone, glory in football. That kid is Vinicius Jr. It's hardly been 2 days since Real Madrid won the Champions League final at Wembley, but everyone is still reeling from it. All talk has centered around Real Madrid's historic number 15. Utter dominance by one Spanish club, Toni Kroos's final game, the pictures of his nostalgic farewell splashed across social media. Ancelotti's cigar dance, the man letting his hair down after quite a season. And topping all of that, and topping that list, Vinicius Jr. He scored the winner for Real Madrid against Borussia Dortmund in the 83rd minute. The success story of Vinicius Jr. is rather extraordinary. He's already won 2 Champions League titles and 3 La Liga titles with the Spanish giant. But that's just the good things. Like most romance stories, the one featuring Vinicius and his first love, football, has its fair share of trials and obstacles. From facing adversaries, racism, his own teammates doubting his talent, and criticisms from his own home fans, he somehow braved all that. And when Vinicius came to Madrid, he was still a raw talent that needed some amount of grooming. He faced criticism from pundits for his lack of finishing abilities. Now, criticism for his football is still fine. The Brazilian took it on his chin and worked on it. But racism is a whole new game, and Vinicius was facing a lot of it. In his 6 years at Madrid, there have been more than a dozen instances of racist taunts hurled at Vinicius, in different ways, from calling him monkey to mocking him on the field to burning his effigies. Episodes that can break anyone's spirit, more so that of a young footballer in his early 20s, and one who's away from home.
I just want to play soccer. do everything for my club and for my family. I see what's really going on. I'm getting sadder and sadder. I feel less and less like playing anymore, but I'll keep fighting.
But that didn't break Vinicius either. In fact, it made him stronger. All of this strengthened him and made him a stronger player, helped him rise up the ranks. Now look, I'm not crediting racism or bullying as reasons to his success. I'm just saying it had to take a lot. Immense resolve, grit, and a certain mental fortitude to battle against all odds. And Vinicius fought it all alone. Instead of faltering and succumbing to the noise, he used it as fuel to drive him and his dreams. He converted every criticism and every obstacle into an opportunity to prove the world wrong. He's wearing that number 7 jersey, a jersey number worn by Cristiano Ronaldo and Raul in the past, two of the strongest minds in the world of football. Vinicius is not just doing justice to his skills, but also to that number 7 jersey, the weight of that number 7 jersey. Spanish midfielder Rodri took home the prestigious prize, but not without drama. Let me tell you all that happened now. Before the Ballon d'Or event took place in Paris, the winner's name somehow leaked out, and it was confirmed that Vinicius Jr was not going to be winning the trophy. A furious Madrid camp decided the ceremony did not require their presence.
Vinicius has done a nice performance previous year. He is the reason that we got actually the Champions League, and there is no doubt by 28 of this month he's gonna get his first Ballon d'Or, Le Châtelet, France. I'm quite sure that he's gonna win it because he deserves it.
That was the buzz right before all of the awards night happened and the announcements were made. So given the hype for the 24-year-old, the anguish and anger among fans and the club after this announcement was made was of course evident. This was an emotional setback for many. None felt more gutted than the player himself, but obviously Vinicius, who made his feelings pretty clear after Rodri lifted that award. Look, an awards night is just that. A group of people trying to do justice to players' hard work and toil through the year. Vinicius, in his place, is right to feel wronged, but he was key. He was instrumental in making Real Madrid win the award for the best club of the year, and maybe we could leave it at that. You, though, can leave your comments on which side of this heated debate you find yourselves on. The 2024 tennis season has come to an end, and one name is on everyone's lips. It's Jannik Sinner. A year that not only tested him, but also established his dominance in the ATP circuit. 2 Grand Slam victories and 5 ATP Tour titles. This weekend, he notched up the season-ending ATP Finals title, swept aside Taylor Fritz in that final, and he did so without dropping a set. Not only was that the 8th title he managed to snag this year, Sinner also made history by becoming the first Italian to win the tournament. But he isn't dwelling on those achievements.
I'm not looking about being the first, whatever. It's just stats. What I'm what's now written. But me always try to improve as a player, and then trying to understand what I can do better. And this week was something where I always felt the ball very good, and even in practice sessions it was very smooth going, and the connection with the crowd was very nice. So let's see what's coming next year. It's the future nobody can predict.
Sinner started the year on a high with a win at the Australian Open, world number 1 of course after that, and 4 ATP Tour titles in the season so far. So it was expected to be another dominant year for him. But as the year progressed, the Italian failed at Wimbledon, the French Open, and even had to withdraw from the Olympics. In the middle of the slump, of course, came the doping scandals. While leading tennis players and his biggest competitors, Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz, didn't pick sides, Roger Federer's statement created quite the flutter.
I understand the frustration about has he been treated the same as others. I think we all trust that Jannik didn't do anything, but the inconsistency potentially that he'd have to sit out while they were not 100% sure about what was going on, I think that's the question here that needs to be answered. It's not something we want to see in our sport. This type of news, regardless of whether he did something or not, it's just noise that we don't want.
Though Sinner has somehow managed to keep the focus and win big, he himself has been troubled by all of this and addressed the issue after the win.
This title means so much for me. The last period of my career was really not easy. It's still on my mind. But when I'm on court, I try to focus on the game. I try to handle the situation the best possible way. It was not easy, that's for sure, but I tried to stay focused, which I guess I've done a great job, mentally staying there every point I play.
The tennis fraternity at large is still quite rankled by how easily Sinner was let off. How easily the investigating team got convinced by Sinner's reasoning. They are somewhat divided when it comes to embracing the Italian's dominance at the US Open here and how he's becoming the player to beat because of this incident.